Hello everybody, I thought I'd share a quick run through of the Monk Epic 1.5 quest in EQ. This was completed by my monk, he's level 96, and I thought I'd share my experience and maybe some tips for people just starting out. It was a pretty good quest, and there's some things you might want to know before you start. Okay, you'll need to be minimum level 70, have the 6th Plane of Justice trials complete, pottery skill 138, tailoring skill at least 176, and it all starts in Lake Raftier with a fallen student at plus 1350 plus 2074. You hail him, go through his dialogue, and then hail him again. And I'll have the necessary phrases up on the screen throughout this walkthrough. So the next step is to go to Harbinger Spire, and you'll need to loot some Murmurite sand. And it's a random drop from any mob in the zone. I actually got the drop from the first couple mobs that I defeated. So you go back to Lake Raftier, hand in the Murmurite sand, and the phrase is time. So say the phrase time to him, and your next step will be to go to Erudin and find Tonekeeper Daniel. And he's in the library on the 2nd floor. I'll show you on the screen. There he is. So you just go up to him and ask him, what about the power of the immortals? This guy was super easy to find when I zoned into Erudin. So next you'll want to go to Shadowhaven and find Researcher Relwyn. And he's at plus 370, plus 1200. And if you look at the screen, I have the map up, you can see exactly where he is. And then you want to go through 2 phrases with him. The first is what important book, and then what pages. And you'll need to find a few pages for him. The first is in the Gulf of Gunthak. Actually, they're parchments, so you'll have to find sections of parchments. And on the screen, I have exactly where to go in the Gulf of Gunthak. It's a ground spawn at negative 730 and negative 340. This one's a little awkward to find, but if you follow my map and exactly where I'm going on the screen, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And these look like little bags that are just on the ground. Like if you drop something, a little bag shows up, and this is the same thing. So here's the first one. Okay, the second one is located in the ruins of Old Peniel, also known as the Hole. And I thought I'd add a quick clip here on how to get there, because some people may not be familiar with how to get there. Basically, if you watch the video, you can see the trick. I had a little bit of trouble remembering exactly how to get down there, because I hadn't been there in years. So you just jump in a little pond here, and there's a rock that you have to click. I remember you having to shrink, so they must have changed that recently. So you click the rock and go through, and now the section of parchment you need will be at plus 65, plus 90. And if you watch the video, it should be right around here. Again, it'll be a little bag that's just sitting on the ground you can loot. So there's a ghostly figure, and it's right underneath her. So I think I'll show you the map in case you're confused. I'll put the map up. So if our maps match, then somebody has it marked on my map. So on to the next step, and you'll need to go to the Howland Stones. And when you zone in, the ground spawn is like right underneath you, so you don't have to go in any of the doors. Just go in the bottom and keep looking around. It's at plus 100, negative 20. This one is a little bit harder to see because it blends in so well with the rocks in the background. but eventually I found it. And it's on like a vertical rock, so a little bit hard to get, but now that we have all three, move on to the next step, which is in Akivia Ruins. And I have the map up so you can see exactly where it spawns. The location's up there as well. So now that we have all four sections of parchment, we go back to Shadowhaven and hand them in to researcher Relrum, and you receive Daniel's missing book. So now that you have the book, you can go back to Daniel in Erudin and hand it to him. Then you go through his dialogue. So just hand it to him here. And say what disciples of Carian, who is Vortex, and what book. Now you go back to Lake Rast here. Are you Vortex? After respawning, he'll respawn as Vortex, and then you ask him, where's Carian's diary? So now you have to go to Siren's Grotto, and this is right near the entrance to the Western Wastes. You have to go all the way in the back of the zone and defeat a mob named Regrish and loot 1/2 of Carian's diary. And he's a pretty easy mob at 96, so just loot the part of the diary and you're on to your next step. This is in Julox Harbor, and you'll need to defeat a mob named Quilglee. And the phrase to get him to attack you is, I will defeat your crew. Once you say that, he will attack you along with about 4 other pirates. Easy to defeat. Then you loot the other half of Carian's diary. And now you have to go to Plane of Tranquility and hand both diary pages to Vortex. And I'll show you the location up here on my map and on the screen. He's right next to the new Plane of Fear zone in, or it's Plane of Hate, one of the two. So, you just give them both pages. And you have to go through several phrases to get the next step. And I'd recommend going through the phrases. There might be a hidden flag somewhere that is required to have the next step happen. So, after you get the phrases completed, it takes a while. This is like the most text-heavy part of the quest. Then you'll need to go to the Scarlet Desert. And you'll need to defeat a mob called the Disciple of the Sun. And he's located on the only plateau in the zone. You have to hail him and then go through the phrase, I wish to challenge you. And he's pretty easy to defeat. And then you loot a symbol of sun and move on to Western Wastes. And this will be in the back of the zone. The exact location is plus 3300, plus 2800. And just say, I seek to prove myself to the Order. When you get back there, I just made a hotkey and just kept spamming it until the mob popped. He's easy to defeat as well. And then you loot the symbol of moon. So after you get the symbol of moon, it's on to defeat the 7th hammer in the Plane of Justice. And I just thought I'd add this note in here. You must have the 6 Plane of Justice trials complete for this step, because you have to be flagged to actually get to the 7th hammer. And then you loot the symbol of order after you defeat him. When you get in there, say, I am ready to face my judgment. Remember, you have to have the 6 trials complete. Maybe I'll do a video someday on exactly how to walk through those trials, but there's some really nice write-ups online. So then you go back to the Plane of Tranquility, you hail Vortex, and you receive a letter to Stremsen. And after you get the letter, go to the bazaar, because that's where he's located. at negative 420 plus 146 in the stable area. You hail him, hand him the letter, ask him what price, and then you hand him 1,000 platinum to receive the celestial thread. And then ask the question polished with a question mark. Also keep in mind that you can keep handing him 1,000 platinum to receive celestial threads, so even if you fail the future combine, you can just come back to him every time and get another celestial thread. So what you'll want to do next is, there's a tailoring merchant in the bazaar you can buy belt patterns from, so just buy like 20 or 30 right away. You're going to need the belt patterns to create the sash, and in order to create the sash, there's no minimum to attempt the combine, so that's a good thing, but the trivial is 176. You already have 2 items that you need, so you'll need the polished symbol of moon, order, and sun. And in order to create that, you'll need to create divine crystalline glazes. You'll need 3 of them in order to polish the symbols that you have. So the ingredients for the crystalline glaze are 1 iron oxide, 1 permafrost crystal, 1 water flask, and 1 white lead. And you'll need to actually go out and find ground spawns of the iron oxide and the permafrost crystals. So if you go to Steamfont Mountains, the iron oxide is a ground spawn by the cogs and pillars. And there's several ground spawns. I'll show you exactly where they are on the map. Remember, you only need 3 of them. And I got 1 right away. They can be anywhere around this area. And I think they spawn in random locations around the area. The iron oxide is not the only item that you'll find around the area either. There's a couple other things, but I think what happens is different items respawn in different locations. So at one point you might get no iron oxides, and at another point you might get like 3 at once. So just stick around in Steamfont and you should get your iron oxide pretty quickly. And I thought I'd show over by the pillars, they can also spawn. There's 2 areas by the 2 pillars, but stay around the cogs. So after getting the iron oxide you need, you'll need to get your permafrost crystals. So go to EverQuest from POK, taking the Halos Stone, and then from EverQuest to Permafrost Keep, loot 3 permafrost crystals. They drop from any mob in the zone. I figured I'd do it this way because I didn't want to look for ground spawns in Everfrost, and certain other areas they spawn as ground spawns, but I figured I'd just go in and defeat all the mobs in Permafrost Keep to get my permafrost crystals. So now that I had my 3 permafrost crystals and my 3 iron oxide, go to POK and purchase a glazed mortar. And there's a merchant that sells it named Dalen Griscar. He's a pottery merchant. You'll need that for one of the steps ahead. So now it's time to create the white lead, and this is really easy. You simply add 1 lead sulfide and 1 limestone in a mixing bowl to create white lead, and it's a no-fail combine. What I found is to get the ingredients, go to Crescent Reach. There's a merchant there that sells both of them. The merchant's name is Poisoner Salah. Just use find, go up to the 2nd floor, and Poisoner Salah is in the middle of this small area between 2 other merchants. You can buy both the ingredients you need from him. Now purchase a mixing bowl from Cook Corey. Just use find and you should have a path lead you right to the merchant that sells it. So buy the mixing bowl, do the combine. Remember, you need 3 of them. My monk only has a skill of 25 in pottery, and I was still able to do the combine, so it's definitely a no fail. So now that you have that done, you need to create the divine crystalline glazes to polish your symbols. So the ingredients are 1 iron oxide, 1 permafrost crystal, 1 water flask, and 1 white lead, and a glaze mortar. This should be a no-fail combine. So just hit combine, and you have the crystalline glaze you'll need. Once that's complete, you combine the symbol of moon, sun, and order with the divine crystalline glazes in a kiln to polish them. And for this step, you definitely need your pottery up to 138 at least. Pottery is really easy to skill up. So if you have a bad skill, just take a few minutes and get your pottery up to 138 at least. So there we have it. All three are polished. And now you combine the belt pattern, the celestial thread, and all three symbols in a sew-in kit or loom to create the sash of the celestial order. And keep in mind that if you don't have a great tailoring skill, there is a trick you can use by leveling up one of your alternate advancement points, and that's the one that gives you at least a 50% chance on a success. And there's no like minimum level requirement to do this combine. I don't know if the developers forgot about it or what, but you can do this combine at any skill level. The exact alternate advancement ability is called Tailoring Mastery, and at level 3 you have a 50% chance of success. So just do that if you have a bad tailoring skill like I did. Now that that's done, go back to Plane of Tranquility. Once you're in Plane of Tranquility, hand the sash back to Vortex. Go through his dialogue. And for some reason you have to hail him 2 times, like at the end, so after you say what place, hail him again. Next step is to go to the Bloodfields and hail Craig Smash. He's located at -500, -1200. After he's defeated, loot Carian's mind. A chest might spawn afterwards, if you have any low-level alts and anything. So now head to Harbinger Spire. Find a mob named Windrush. He's at +590, -2045. Hail him. Say the phrase, "I am of the body." He's way in the back by the spiral staircase in one of the caves. Now loot Carian's body. A chest will spawn. Go back to Plane of Tranquility. Hand in both the mind and body to Vortex. Now you're ready for the last fight. And this will be the Keeper and the Bloodfields. So head to the Bloodfields, hail him, and say the phrase. He'll start attacking. This is the last mob that you'll have to defeat in the whole quest. I brought along a couple of other tombs that I have, just in case he was tough, but he was not really tough at all. So now you loot a scribed note after he's defeated. Chest will spawn. Go back to Plane of Tranquility and give Vortex the scribed note. And that is the last step. So now you have your epic 1.5. Overall, I found this a fairly easy epic to get. The hardest part would have to be the Plane of Justice trials, getting those complete. Some of the tailoring was interesting. The pottery was unexpected, but pottery is easy to level up in. I found the biggest trick to this whole epic was just trying to do the tailoring parts. I thought it was a little bit tough, but nothing too bad if you have good tailoring skills. There's also quite a bit of running around, so you might want to take a druid with you to help you teleport to different places. Well, that's about it. Thanks for watching.